Hey guys, Anthony here, the Rad Company, and welcome to Wash Wednesday, because in today's video, we have Justin here, and Justin, what are we driving?
We got a 2021 diesel Gladiator.
All right, Justin, so this Gladiator is freaking awesome. It's actually the first Gladiator we've ever had on a Wash Wednesday. Can you believe it?
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm
the guys
excited.
are excited. The off-road people are excited. This is gonna be a good day. But here's the thing. You brought this thing to us pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done some stuff, right?
One or two things.
There's red dirt on it. We don't have red dirt here in Idaho, so I don't know where that's from.
Yeah, so this is actually, we took this thing out to King of the Hammers in Johnson Valley, California. So it was out there on the dry lake bed out there back in February.
Who is the King of the Hammer?
So, well, this year it would be, it's Raul Gomez.
Oh, so there actually is a King of the Hammer, right? Yeah. Not just multiple hammers, there's one hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and cool. He is the king currently. He's the new king too. So it's been going on for about 13 years.
Yeah.
So King of the Hammers is Ultra 4 racing. It's unlimited off-road four-wheel drive racing. So think kind of like Baja, but instead of going around rocks, they go over them.
Cool, sounds safe.
Yeah, so it's basically like the Burning Man for off-road. So that happens in February. Okay. And then recently we were just at Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, Utah. So as you can see, that was a few weeks ago, but as you can see, I have yet to wash it from coming back from Moab. So that red dirt is actually from the beautiful state of Utah.
Amazing. So we have our work cut out for us, needless to say. Now, here's the deal, Justin. Most people are gonna they're gonna say, okay, the Rad Company here, they pulled on an off-road vehicle. They're gonna use the P&S off-road line. They're going to, they have to, right? Why else would they have an off-road line? Well, here's the thing, we're gonna throw a curveball, right? We love the P&S off-road line, but I want to test out some other products on an off-road vehicle because we haven't done it before. So we have Stjarnaglas products, which are from the UK, right? This is a Scandinavian design product line that I just want to see what it'll do, right? Levi wants to see what it'll do. He's kind of giving me the thumbs up back there, and you know, he's our cheerleader.
I'm curious as well, right?
So I just want to see, because the thing is, the product lines is beautiful, and you're kind of a marketing person yourself. I feel like you'll kind of like the experience a lot. The thing is the off-road line is amazing, but we've been shooting with the off-road line every single day for like the past 3 weeks, and so I want to mix it up. I want to throw some Stjarnaglas into the mix. So with that said, the plan for today, right, and this might be a little bit different than what you're used to, we're gonna pre-treat everything with Forced first, their citrus pre-cleaner. I'm talking we're gonna douse all the mud, all the grime, the wheels. Are those beadlock wheels?
They are beadlocks.
Oh, wonderful. So they're just gonna keep pulling that mud, so we're gonna pre-treat them as best we can. So pre-treat everything with Forced, and after we do that, we are going to pre-spray everything with snow. They're basically their snow foam. We're gonna foam can everything, try to loosen things up, and we're gonna do this kind of the UK way. Let the snow foam settle, we're gonna rinse it, and then I'm actually gonna foam it again, and then after that, we're gonna jump into a bucket wash using their Bubblor shampoo. You'll love it, it smells amazing, it's like candy. We're gonna knock out the wheels with their Huel cleaner. I don't know how much color changing we'll see, but hey, what happens, it happens. And then we're gonna protect the vehicle with the Parlous spray sealant, and then go over it with Gumi, the tire dressing. Levi's probably gonna jump in here with the tire dressing.
I think he has to.
There's a lot of tire here, man. I'm kind of nervous about the situation because there's a lot of tire and my hands aren't big enough to tackle that much tire, right? All of our hands combined, so we'll see what we can do. So with that said, we have a lot to do, but really quick, how do you normally wash this?
So we'll actually take it to like the, what's that place down the road? Hand car wash place down the road?
Oh, them.
Dun dun dun.
Them.
Is that like the evil them?
The enemy.
I didn't even drop the name.
No. So
I didn't even drop the name.
That's what you don't even have to, because they actually do use our towels. They're really nice guys over there. They're really, really cool. I mean, it starts with the letter J somewhere in the mix, but Dane takes his car there. Glenn takes her car there. A lot of people take their car there, and you know what? It's hand washing.
Yeah, so typically we have to go over to that place only because most of the places that you can even fit most of these trucks into is kind of limited, right? Yeah. And then plus it's also the exterior accessories. When you're dealing with off-road lights, the winches, we have a snorkel on one of our work trucks, like on our huge Dodge, right? So it has to be kind of babied that way. This one doesn't really get washed that much, as you can see.
Okay, well, you know what? let's change that. Let's get this Jeep Gladiator clean. All right, getting the foam cannon ready, and Justin, you use the
Yeah.
use the whole thing. I probably should have given him some better instructions. You only needed really a couple of sprays per area.
Oh.
Oh my God. All right, so you know what? Hey, different strokes for different folks. I like the enthusiasm, Justin. I'm glad you're able to just get after it and get it done.
I'm getting in there. We dig in.
You are. All right, Justin. So I had you take a bottle and spray your vehicle down with it. You had no idea what was in it.
Yeah, no
You had no idea what it did.
Smells good.
Other than pre-treat, that's what we called it, right?
Okay.
So you've essentially sprayed your vehicle down with acid, and your paint should be melting off. I'm kidding.
Perfect.
I'm kidding. No, so this was a citrus pre-cleaner, right? So this is something that does have a higher pH. It's gonna start breaking down all sorts of dirt and grime. Anything.
I mean, already seeing it come off the wheels like this. I mean, it's,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating.
It melts off. But what I like about it is that once you spray it on, it starts doing some work, and then you can immediately spray it off with a hose or a pressure washer if you want to. What we're doing in our case is actually hitting it over the top with some foam, right? That's gonna help break it up a little bit more as well, and then re-rinse everything. And so typically, I'll rinse it, foam it, start washing, but we wanna do it like the guys over there, across the Atlantic, right? Follow suit and see what happens, right? So have you ever foamed anything before?
I have, yes.
You have, okay.
Yeah.
What have you foamed? Can you mention it here? Is it appropriate?
With whiskey sours.
Okay.
Egg white foam.
That's my favorite drink. Do you know that? I love that. I love whiskey sours with egg white. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit this half of the side here, this half of the Gladiator.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have you just have a heyday here. So I'm just gonna show you how this works. We're gonna make sure our foam mixture is max, so we're gonna turn it all the way to the right to the plus sign. We're gonna make sure our tip is basically gonna be spraying vertically, and then do a quick test spray here. Now, snow is just a snow foam. It is a pH balanced snow foam. It's got some cleaning detergents in it, offers a lot of lubrication, but it's gonna help break things down even further than what force could do because of just how saturated it's gonna get, how wet it's gonna get. So, yeah, let's do this thing. This is very drippy. I don't know if the audio guy is picking this up, but we have a guy with a boom mic.
Oh wow!
Today.
It's quite drippy.
It is quite drippy.
Woo, that is fun.
We're doing the whole thing. If we run out, we're gonna refill it. Unlike the force that you blew through. But hey, that's okay. Yeah, set that bottle down. All right, we don't need to be reminded of that. That bottle's only like a couple bucks. It's fine.
I mean, just to see like the grime coming down in between here and it like pulling it off. Because one of the things that, when you're using an off-road vehicle like this, you never, especially when you're wheeling here in Idaho and you're dealing with so much silt and grit and sand and dirt and blue. I mean, you just never know, right? As the tires are kicking up and spraying terrain all over the vehicle, to see it just dissolve off of it without having to do that much effort, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody drives through a bunch of cow manure, and then you start mixing the smells with that. Ask me how I know that, right?
Or Mormon cricket.
Ask me how I know. No way. Watch this. Damn.
That is crazy. Like, oh my God. That's been on there for 5 weeks. That dirt just been packed in there and just sat on there through like snowing, rain, like all the stuff that we've just been going through, like with the weather here, and it just blew off there with that much ease. That's pretty, like, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed that. That's pretty amazing.
All right, guys, so a quick update on what we've done so far. Now, we went through and we pre-treated everything with force, right? And then we went through with snow. We let that kind of drip dry, and then we rinsed everything off, and now we're left with this, right? So It's not clean, still some grime on it, but I mean, heck, for a relatively touchless wash, I'd say it did quite a bit of work.
It's crazy impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Blown away, yeah, absolutely.
Now here's the deal, right? Everybody loves Justin, so we had a bunch of people come into this building and start saying, Justin, hey man, what's going on? It was like a whole party in here. They brought lights and beer, and I was like, hey, you guys can't do that right now. We're trying to film a video. And before you know it, like, dude, let's give them the tour. And so we had like UTVs driving around. It was crazy. It was like this whole thing. So we only have an hour left, right? To finish this, I mean, I'm talking literally like almost a full detail minus the polish and everything else. But I mean, to really wash this thing and do a good job and obviously impress all of you watching. So I'm pulling Levi Gates, the master of shine, to the mix to help with the wheel and tire cleaning, mainly because he was the biggest distraction and I hate cleaning wheels and tires, right?
So it's kind of like a payback.
It is a payback.
Speak.
I'm like, you've taken something from me. I have to take something from you, right?
Doing wheels, I hate it.
It's your time, and hopefully, maybe your arthritic arms putting those things to
We're
work.
gonna hear some creaking and some cracking.
Sounds
popping and some locking.
Sounds like sand inside.
Sounds like gravel. Is that a rock tumbler going on?
Yeah.
No, just Levi cleaning wheels.
Just Levi's joints. Okay, so from here, what we're gonna do, a little bit more fun. I'm going to refoam cannon the car, refoam cannon the truck here with snow. Because basically, in the UK, they foam, rinse, and then foam again, right? Same concept. We're gonna do that, foam, rinse, foam. Once the foam's on there, we're gonna take our bucket with our bubbler, put that inside the bucket, and then enjoy a nice hand wash, right? I mean, you're gonna talk a little bit, relax, I'm gonna ask you some questions. And while we're doing that, right, Levi's gonna be on his hands and knees below us, right? Cleaning some wheels and tires, right?
Getting in there deep like.
Getting in there deep like. So,
As long as there's a lot of back arching going on, I think everything will be fine.
I like it. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so here's the deal. Dang it. So what I have here in the bucket is the bubbler shampoo. Now this is a high gloss shampoo. The reason why we're adding this on is just to give it a little bit of extra pop, right? We're gonna be using Parla, their spray sealant, as a drying aid once we get to that portion of the detail. But for the most part, this is fun. You can kind of smell that fruitiness already. You're gonna be helping me out with this. I'm gonna knock out this half. You're gonna knock out the other half, right? We're gonna share the same bucket. Don't be shy. We're gonna be dipping from the same thing, right? Not my first time in life and not my last. So
Dipping from the same well, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So this is gonna be your guy. 6x8 Ultra Wash Pad, right? This is gonna be 100% microfiber. It's extremely soft, extremely safe. I like a wash pad versus a wash mitt, mainly so my hand's not like locked in it, right? I feel like I can move freer when I have a wash pad. So I'm using the big 10X guy just because I'm experienced, right? The more experienced you are, the bigger you go, right? Something like that. We got Levi on his knees over there, knocking out the, looks like the wheel cleaning and the tire cleaning, which is fun. You can hear,
it's so fun.
You can hear the gravel. But what I'm gonna do is knock out this side. You're gonna knock out this side. We're using one bucket today. Typically, if you're washing a black vehicle that you're really careful with the paint, you might wanna use 2 buckets. I trust the system, especially with all the foam we're using and all the pre-treating we did, so we're just gonna use 1 bucket today. So anything else? Do you think you got it, top to bottom?
I got it, yep, let's do this.
Let's jump into it. So, Justin, I think now's a good time to start asking, right? You have a lot of stickers on this thing, right?
Yes, sir.
I see a big sticker here on the top, Factor 55, right? Can you explain a little bit of what Factor 55 is for the people watching? I'm curious.
So Factor 55 is the company that I work for. It was started here in Boise about 10 years ago. So we actually manufacture USA-made vehicle recovery products. So we make stuff for vehicle recovery, for UTVs and side-by-sides, all the way up to like big, huge, like military, like 30,000 pound vehicles, and kind of everything in between. So Warren Industries, actually Warren Winches, bought our company 2 years ago. And so now we have like now we're like,
Now you're a powerhouse, dude.
Oh yeah, now we're like the foremost name in like vehicle recovery products. Yeah, it's
Holy
pretty cool.
smokes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it'd be like an Idaho-made company, you know what I mean? An Idaho business.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the whole thing, it's like super rad.
So with that said, obviously you get to test out all the products and whatnot. You have quite a few products on here. So being in that industry, does that kind of expose you to a lot of other off-roading opportunities, such as going out and doing fun things or other cool products? I mean, like, what's the coolest thing to have on your vehicle? Factor 55 stuff?
yeah, I mean, we've been really fortunate to where we do a lot of off-road events, off-road racing,
Yeah.
a lot of Jeep events, and we actually just got back from Overland Expo West, from a huge outdoor overland show. It's basically like the SEMA show for camping.
Oh,
right?
nice.
And so, yeah, it's really neat because Warren actually has now expanded, and they actually just acquired Fab Tech suspension, which is on the Jeep, and then also Fab 4 bumpers out of South Carolina. So really neat, man, to see like the expansion of that company and being able to offer like really good quality USA made parts to like all of, you know, all those consumers out there for anything, whether it be light truck, heavy truck, side-by-sides, or, you know, Jeeps. You know, obviously I'm a Jeeper, so I prefer that for like the wheeling and those types of things. So it's really cool, man. It's really cool to be a part of. So like
have you always been into Jeeps?
No, actually. So I went to college for music, and then when I moved home from, I was living in Hawaii teaching scuba, and then I was out in LA for a little while where my son was living at.
Nice.
And then I moved back and bought a Jeep and was like, I'm gonna take the doors off and it's gonna be super cool to go camping.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine was like, hey man, have you ever heard of King of the Hammers?
Just like innocent fun is what you're looking to have,
yeah, dude.
right?
Yeah, he was like, you ever heard of King of the Hammers? And I was like, man, that sounds crazy. What's that? So King of the Hammers is basically the Burning Man for off-road racing.
Yeah.
And it happens in Johnson Valley, California once a year. And it brings over 100,000 people out to this dry lake bed in California. So to be a part of like, you know, now this whole community and developing products with these race teams and for the military and all this stuff has been a really interesting thing that I never thought I would ever have the opportunity to race the Baja 1000 or be a part of. And the community has been incredible, you know, because it's amazing, dude, the amount of opportunity that you get to hang out with people just because you drive the same car, right? The Jeeper is a passionate group of people.
Heck yeah. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to clean this rear window. Are you climbing up on the tire?
Oh, I got it, dude. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
You get used to it.
My knees.
You get used to that thing.
We're going to make it happen. Yeah, we did it. Nice. Oh my gosh, there's a lot more surface area on this thing than you would think there is. I mean, so what made you get the Gladiator? I mean, of all the Jeeps, right? Because Jeep people are crazy. I mean, in a good way, not a bad way.
So the joke is that real Jeeps always have two doors, right? Okay. So I have a two-door Jeep, and so we always laugh about it for like if you got like when people come up to the booth and I'm always like, oh, well, you know, what year Jeep you got? And they'd be like, oh man, I got a 06 TJ. I'm like, oh, you got a real Jeep, huh? Yeah. Right. So most of the you know, from the four-door JK crowd is really like turned into being, you know, that's where you get like a lot of the mall crawler thing and all the little like jokes that come into off-roading. But I actually decided to get the Gladiator because I have a two-door Jeep as well that was all done up, and I paid it off in June, and then the motor let go a week later. So it's in the process of getting a motor swap, and then in that process of getting that motor swap, I'm now also, you know, me and my wife just had a little baby girl.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I got an 18-month-old daughter, and actually I have an 18-year-old son. So I got 18 and 18.
Well, that's quite the age.
Yeah, so my son's graduating high school this next week, actually. And, you know, we were like, well, if we looked at getting a truck, maybe a truck to tow the Jeep and do all these things once I got the motor replaced. Yeah. And I was like, well, at the end of the day, man, I was like, dude, I got a diesel truck, but I still got a Jeep. So now we can tow the JK around with this thing. And oh, dude, we just get to
make for some pretty cool pictures, right?
Well, yeah, and to be, you know, now when you go camping, especially with like an overland trailer and like all the stuff that I have, this now can go further and farther than, you know, any other type of like, you know, it's better than having a Sprinter van. You know what I mean? So very cool. And this thing's also getting like 20 miles a gallon on 37s and beadlocks.
Can't complain right there, dude. Can't complain at all.
And it gets up and goes 100 miles an hour without having to like think about it. So yeah, to have like, you know, it's got all aluminum skids from Artec. It's got Artec inner fender liners, BFG 37-inch KO2s, FabTech 3-inch kit, Dirt Logic shocks. all steer smart steering components up in the front end, man, to keep the death wobble down. All Bartech seat covers on the inside it's got onboard air. It's got an ARB dual twin air compressor on the inside. Yeah, man, all Carolina Metal Masters, like CMM off-road, like billet grab handle mounts, mirror mounts, phone mounts, all that stuff. Stinger off-road, 10-inch head unit. The head unit in this stereo thing it's badass.
So honestly, right, how much would you say is into this and just pure modifications, or how much did you tell your wife?
Well, that's a really good question.
Right,
actually.
what's the number? What's the actual number? Or you just tell me just the number you told your wife, and we'll just kind of just assume it's a certain.
Well,
I
told her it was all free because
yes,
I work in the industry.
Yeah. That's the easy answer.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to get around with it. When the boxes show up, you're like, no, I don't know where that came from.
Whoa,
no, man, it's so cool.
What a surprise!
Oh, it's on the show build, right? It's gonna be at SEMA.
Wow, that's super nice, so generous of them to send me this.
It's probably like, I don't know, like with the truck itself, we lucked out and were able to find it in Hillsboro, Oregon. Okay. And so I got the thing for, I think I got this thing out the door for like 45, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was a pretty good deal. And it was a sport model. But we are going to upgrade the axles to Rubicon axles from our dudes at Impulse Off-Road in Salt Lake. So we're going to go down there and do that here pretty soon. But yeah, just the skid plates alone are like $2,600.
Holy smokes.
You know what I mean? But they're all aluminum and like full belly to protect the def tank and all that stuff on the inside of this thing. So
and do you install most of these things yourself? Is there a certain shop in town that you like to work with?
Okay, so a couple, yeah. There's we've done a little bit of both, right? So I actually drove to Salt Lake to Artec to have the skids put on and did that. I went to Warren Industries in Clackamas and actually put the winch and the bumpers on. Both the front and rear bumpers are Warren Industry bumpers, so I put those on myself. The steer smarts components, actually I had Dixie 4-wheel drive in St. George, Utah. They put those on pre-King of the Hammers. And then because we acquired FabTech suspension, which is really big into trucks, a lot of aftermarket stuff, but they were really kind of starting to specialize in the Jeep space. We did an event in St. George, and then I dropped it off in Southern California at FabTech because they were R&D'ing the diesel suspension to get put on here, right, to deal with the weight of the motor on the front end. And then they did all the suspension stuff pre-King of the Hammers, and so I went down there to pick that up to do that. Yeah, and then I've already put, I've almost put 20,000 miles on this thing since June of last year.
Jeez, yeah.
So it's a road warrior too, right?
So you've had your fun already. It's paid for itself in one way, shape, or form,
my God,
right?
dude, yeah. And the only reason why we're switching it out to make sure that we have lockers in these axles, especially for snow wheeling. Yeah. So when we're out doing recoveries or doing that kind of stuff and training in the snow, when you get bound up on one side, you want to be able to keep both of those tires spinning, especially in that type of soft terrain.
It's funny because anybody that I've ever seen that has a winch, right? They want any excuse to use the winch, right? Because they say, I've had this on here. How can I use this, right? We pulled out my frame on one of my Hondas, like my most recent Honda, using a winch because it was like super exciting. We're like, how can we pull this frame out? Like, it was like an inch, right? Well, we can use a winch, right? Do you know anybody with a winch that's excited to use it? I do, right? Like everybody raises their hand. I want to do it. I want to do it. I'm like, you guys are weird, man. You guys are freaks. But I'm like, I get it, right? You have this thing that sits on there. You want a reason to use it because it's pretty sweet. So, and this thing's pretty beefy, man. That thing looks like the size of my lawnmower.
So this is
crazy.
This thing is it's an 8274. This is one of the newer versions of that old school winch. It's actually got a 6 horsepower motor in the back end.
It's bigger than my mower.
Yeah, full all-bright solenoid. It's got 150 feet of Spidura synthetic winch line, right? And then our closed system winching billet components that we manufacture for closed system winching and that safety parts on the front too. So this thing is serious business. When you're down to do when you're doing real recoveries, this thing just pulls and pulls and pulls. And that line speed is pretty phenomenal.
Wild. That's so cool, man. All right, well, here's the deal, guys. Levi helped a ton, right? He was able to get a lot done, knock out some of the undercarriage stuff with a brush, got the wheels all cleaned up and the tires. So at this point, all we have to do is rinse it. So we're gonna rinse, we're gonna pull this thing out of this swamp. Seriously, all the dirt that this thing has collected over the last however many weeks, right? all that stuff is literally just kind of on our mat right now. So I'm like stepping in. I'm like, what is this red sand in my shoe? So yeah, and Justin's fully embracing it, right? So with that said, we're gonna rinse this off, pull it out of here, get it probably underneath the hex lights, grab some Parla spray sealant, use it as a drying aid, and get this thing dried, get this thing sealed all in one go. All right, guys, so we just finished up with the rinsing. Now we got the Gladiator under the hex lighting, which it looks pretty dang good if I say so myself. Yeah. But now we need to dry this thing. And so I can tell there is little to no protection on here, meaning like wax or a sealant or anything like that. And so for this, we are going to kind of seal and dry, meaning that we're going to use the Parla sealant from Glass, the same brand that we've been using this as a drying aid to basically aid in drying the smoothness, the slickness, but also give it some protection while we're going in there. So I'm going to hand you a Liquidator drying towel here, which is a 70-30 twist loop weave. Now, this is a pretty dang absorbent towel if I say so myself, but we're going to be using it with a sealant, right? So instead of drying and then sealing in 2 separate steps, we're going to try to knock this out in the same step. So what I like to do for this is fold my towel into 4ths, 5ths, 6ths, 8ths, however you like to do it, right? And then from there, we're going to come over to an area on the vehicle. I'm going to take the Parla spray sealant and kind of map out how many sprays I want to do on this hood. I want to do probably anywhere from 4 to 5 sprays, right? So I'm going to give it a nice spray there, and immediately after spraying it, I can see it actually starts beating that water. It's almost like it's an immediate reaction. Taking my towel, I'll give it a spray into the towel itself just to kind of get it started. Go to that area I just sprayed, and then begin drying. Flip my towel, buffing to a nice smooth surface. Now come over here. I want you to feel this. Go like this with the back of your hand and just kind of feel the slickness there.
Oh my God.
Right? Almost immediately. So
that's crazy.
Keep in mind, guys, Justin is not a detailer. So this is pretty shocking to him as a first experience.
That's crazy.
Thing, right? And
that feels smoother than like the factory paint, man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's hard to describe the slickness of that without like actually having to touch that.
What he doesn't know is I kind of clayed this area for this reason, but it's okay. But hey, it's still slick, right? It still feels great. Yeah. But I mean, so that's kind of the goal, is to get this kind of same result throughout the rest of the hood. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give my hood over here maybe another spray right there. You're going to go over to your side, give another spray, give another couple sprays, go to where you sprayed the product, and then we're just going to start drying it in. It's that simple. Yep, just like that. Spray under the towel, and then just start working the product in and just start drying off all the water. Yep, perfect. And then you're gonna flip the towel as needed. And then once you get good at this, Justin, I mean, you can get pretty fast, dude. I mean, like, we're able to knock out hoods in, a minute or two, and you just kind of get a rhythm. But you'll, practice makes perfect. So what you could do is, since you like to take your vehicle through a hand wash, after they get done, you can just go pull over, and that gas station kind of is over close by there, take a product like this, take a nice towel, and go over it and seal it up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knock out your fenders here for you. So bam, 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 and then you're gonna move your way to the door, and then your glass. You can also spray it on glass too, which is gonna allow some pretty crazy water behavior on the glass to where you don't have to use your windshield wipers as much. What do you think of the smell? Do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, especially having a black vehicle, yeah. I mean, just to see the instant reflection that's coming off of this like that is just incredible. And yeah, the smell is awesome. I mean, it's super fragrant and kind of fruity, and I mean, I really like that.
Yeah, it's got a good smell to it and just kind of makes it more fun to use, especially people that are, either just getting into detailing or, or maybe using some old school stuff, maybe store-bought stuff, and they haven't really kind of experienced, what's the latest and greatest. Being able to use, a product line like Gloss and have some fun with it, it definitely kind of, recreates that love for it.
So Anthony, let me ask you this then. So with a lot of like the road debris, trail debris, things like that we, because we're always constantly trying to use different methods of, protecting like synthetic winch lines and some of our other types of vehicles. Like, so can some of these products also be used on the inside of the vehicle, or do you have another type of line that's for like dashes and that type of thing?
Yeah, so the entire Sternogloss line, I mean, they have interior products as well, and some of these products are kind of cross-compatible. So for example, a lot of people don't know this, but you can use their Silky Quick Detailer, and you can also use Parlon plastics on the interior as well, just to kind of keep things protected. But yeah, it's kind of true, right? Because you crack your window when you're going off-road, and you end up with a very thick 1-inch layer of dust on the inside. So what kind of anti-static products exist to reduce that? And that's where having a good interior cleaner, having something that's going to be able to have an anti-static effect on the plastics is important and whatnot. But basically everything we're using today in terms of the line is also, compatible with interior stuff, like their any interior cleaner, their Parla spray sealant that we're using right now, and then who knows, down the road they might have a future interior protection.
And will this and then as far as like bugs and that type of stuff coming on like the windshields or the front of the vehicle, because that's always a big deal too, right?
Yeah.
When you're getting like bugs flying to the side of the front of the winch or the front of the Jeep grill or anything like that, right? Is that something that this can also aid and help in as well?
Yeah, it kind of creates like a skiing effect, right? Where they just kind of ski off the front, right? And that's kind of what we want to happen. We want bugs to not be able to stick and just kind of propel themselves off without splattering. And so I find that in most of my vehicles that are either ceramic coated or sealed with a nice sealant with good, low surface tension and maybe like a high contact angle, I find that I have less bug splatters than I've ever had because of the products I use.
Oh, well, that's phenomenal. I got to show you a photo from the last time I drove over to Portland to the plant. Like, man, I couldn't even see out of the front of the windshield.
Oh yeah.
Well, especially when you leave Boise, right, and you head out into Oregon, and you get over there in like some of those wide open plain sections of road, especially on the other side of Pendleton. I mean, geez, man, it's just wide open, right? And it's just brutal, the amount of bugs and stuff that can come across those areas like that. So that's really neat that it can aid in helping that. I mean, this truck looks like it did when I pulled it off the showroom. I mean, that's crazy.
Heck yeah, man, that's what we were hoping for. Now there are some scratches and stuff like that on here, just some love marks, right? And
yeah, well, that's my bad.
Honestly,
I'm man enough to say that's my bad.
Those can all come out. Those could all be polished out if you ever wanted to go about it. But the thing is this is going to see more off-road use. It's going to get loved on some more. So it's one of those things where it's like maybe before you retire it, you give it like a full nice polish or detailer before you're going to take it to a show. But like all this stuff, all that can come out. So when I take my thumb and I try to scratch it with my finger, right? Yeah. I'm not catching it with my fingernail. I just know that that's basically just on that surface layer clear, just a little bit of 3000 grit or Trizac paper.
We call that Rocky Mountain pinstriping.
Yeah, just go over it, buff it out. That would come straight out. But
well, we're also gonna, and I still gotta, we still gotta wrap this vehicle too.
Oh, you're gonna wrap it too?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, so, not completely. We want to do. There's gonna be some cool scheme up the back. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty trick.
Heck yeah, man.
Maybe we'll do a exclusive rag company reveal here.
Ooh, that would be pretty sweet, right? Collab there. All right, guys. So Levi is giving Justin a one-on-one on how to use a quick detailer in like the Sternogloss Silky, for example. Silky. And so while they're doing that, I'm actually using the glass cleaner. So it's called Glass. It literally doesn't get any easier than that. So we went through and we used Parla on the exterior windows. And actually the slickness is there, they are protected, but I'm just going through and knocking down any streaks using the glass cleaner. Now surprisingly, it's not removing the Parla, it's just kind of leveling any high spots. So a couple sprays in my towel, do the box method if I want, go around the outside here. I can go up in this motion. And what's nice is that this stuff flashes off extremely, extremely fast. I love that about this particular glass cleaner because not all of our glass cleaners do that. Honestly, they don't all flash off fast. I mean, some of them kind of stick around to give you more working time. I like something where it's wipe, move on, because I hate glass cleaning just as much as I hate wheel cleaning. So come around to this other side here. I'm going to give us a couple sprays here on the inside. Again, box method. I'm going to go around the outside here, and then I'm going to go from side to side. And that's it. I also particularly like this glass cleaner because it's a very clinical smell. I don't know how to describe it, it just smells clinical because the combination of the fruity scents, the coconut, the quick detailer that kind of smells like a hair shampoo, and then this clinical smelling glass cleaner, I'm on like some type of like euphoric smell journey through many places I haven't been to in a very long time. So moving on to the back glass. Bam. Like I said, Justin, you bring all these products with you to Burning Man. What's it called?
King of the Hammers.
Yeah, King of the Hammers, right? Dude, you'll have people flocking to you. They'll be like, what is that guy using on his Jeep? It smells amazing. It looks amazing. How do you get your stuff so slick? Trust me, you'll get that question a lot, right? There's a couple Jeep people we know that go to events like that are rag company enthusiasts that do buy and use all of our products. They're great guys. They're seriously awesome. But they say that finding other Jeep people to use premium products is like the hardest sell because they'll spend all the money on the parts, they'll spend all the money on certain customization, but when you say, hey, this is a $4 towel, they go, oh my God, $4 towel? Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen ever. And you're like,
Jeez,
really?
Well, yeah, you think about it even now when you have so many builds where, they're easily above $100,000 and, the amount of investment that's going in there or V8 swap motors or, all these things that are coming in there that, especially for pre-treating the vehicle to make the cleaning easier, like after you get off the trail, that's a home run. Like you can't deny it, man. You take more of the work out of it ahead of time to where just even the end result of how the tonneau cover of this, that looks brand new again after all the dirt's been caked on in here and the winter and the gunk. This is incredible. Just see your reflection straight in the paint and just how smooth that is. The touch is, that's crazy. I didn't even think that was possible. It's crazy.
Okay, so the cherry on top is going to be the Gumi tire and trim dressing. So these are BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2s, one of the king of off-road tires. Justin, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Made in America.
Made in America.
Winner of the Baja 1000.
But winner of the Baja, what else do they got?
Oh, well, I think they dropped one of these out of an airplane once.
Dropped one of these things out of an airplane.
Held air the whole
right?
time, the whole way down.
Whole way down. Amazing. So, pretty cool tires. I run these on my Dodge Ram 1500, and I never really use them for what they're intended to do, but you know what? They sure as heck look cool when they're rolling down that pavement. I tell you what, right? So we want to get these things dressed, right? We went through with Forrest. Levi scrubbed these things pretty dang good. What's funny about off-road tires, there's never enough scrubbing. You can keep scrubbing for days, but Forrest does a great job at breaking things down along with the Detail Factory tire brush. So, which means it's ready to accept a new dressing. So, Gumi here, right? You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way with this. You can brush it on. You can use an applicator. I'm going to use an applicator today. Taking the product, cracking that lid open, and I'm going to apply a couple different lines here. Sometimes I make a design of some sort. And like all Stirring Glass products, it smells really, really good. From there, I'm going to find a spot to kind of create like a drip line to pull from. I'm going to go like that. And then from there, where can I take that? I can take that up, take that down, take that from this side to that side, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, however I want to do it. Now the hard part with dressings is that how do you get into all these cracks and crevices? That's where brushes really make sense. But we find that Gumi just kind of finds its way into places that you didn't think it would, and that's kind of a good thing in these tires case. So anyways, going through, taking this and spreading it in. Now Gumi is going to leave not a high gloss finish, but it is going to leave a gloss finish. So a lot of the tire dressings out there will go for kind of a pure satin look. This takes kind of the satin look to a little bit of the next level, right? It's that perfect kind of area between satin and gloss, because for some people, why put on a tire dressing if you can't even tell it's there, right? It might darken the tires for a little bit, but some people really want the full effect of having a decent tire dressing, and that's where Gumi makes sense. All right, Justin, so we just pulled the Jeep outside, and it looks freaking awesome,
Looks
man.
awesome.
Looks amazing.
It's amazing.
Looks really, really good.
Yeah, that's so great, man.
I'm surprised, but not surprised.
Finished. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be that. I mean, the quality difference, the shine, how smooth the paint feels now. After it's sitting for 5 weeks with Moab dirt all over it, crazy, man.
Dude, heck
phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
That's what I like to hear. So it's kind of the point of Wash Wednesday, is to bring everyday folk on here just to kind of show them how we do things, how things can clean up really, really well. So out of all the products we use today, the Stirring Glass product, what was your favorite?
You know, honestly, man, that very first product, the
Force.
The Force.
Yeah.
Dude, to just see that thing, let alone just the power of the sprayer itself, just as a physical device. But as soon as it would hit that dirt that's been caked up in the rock slider and been on there for weeks, I mean, through snow, through rain, through all kinds of stuff that we've been experiencing through spring weather here in Idaho, and just that just started to dissolve it out of the wheels and off of that. That to me was, I can't wait to get a case of that stuff to leave it in my house. It's crazy, crazy finish.
Well, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, this very Jeep episode here with this awesome Jeep Gladiator. So to check out more of Factor 55, you can check them out on Instagram. You can check out their website. Anywhere else they can check out?
Yeah, on TikTok, YouTube channel as well, right?
Nice.
So just everything is at Factor 55, pretty easy to find.
Right on, Justin. Thanks again, man.
Thank you
I really
so much.
appreciate
Yeah, man.
it, dude. This has turned out awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. So as usual, if you guys love the Wash Wednesdays, make sure to give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rag Company.